Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Joe Corio. I'm Senior Vice President here at URL Insurance Group, and it's a pleasure having everybody with us today for our third installment of the updates on the DOL rule. Before I get started, I'd just like to thank everyone for their business and their support throughout the years here at URL, whether you're writing annuities, life, health, Medicare, or group products. We do definitely appreciate your business. We know you have a lot of choices as to where you place your business, and we're very happy that you care to do your business through URL. Okay, that being said, we're going to start today's, you can see the agenda up there. We're going to have a brief summary of what's going on with the legal happenings of the DOL rule, and then we'll take you into the other aspects that we want to cover today. Basically, on the legal aspects of what's going on, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, the National Association of Fixed Annuities, which is NAFA, which we are proud to be a member of, filed a lawsuit back in June, which was seeking a preliminary injunction to stay implementation of the Department of Labor rule. The judge in that case was Judge Randall Moss, who earlier in November presided over the case, and Judge Moss denied the preliminary injunction and ruled in favor of the Labor Department on its merits in upholding the rule. I also reported a couple weeks ago that since then NAFA has announced they would file an appeal to the ruling, which they have done. In addition, just in the last 2 weeks, NAFA also filed an emergency motion for an injunction pending appeal with the U.S. Court of Appeals. In other words, they have asked the court to put an emergency stop on the ruling until their appeal can be heard, since they know it's going to take a while for that to happen. The motion asks for a delay of 10 months at a minimum, but says a 2-year delay would be warranted. So we'll see where we go with that. As I also reported, there was a lawsuit in Texas that was heard. We're still waiting the outcome of that. We thought that the judge in that case was a little more sympathetic to our claims, so we'll see where we go with that. Also, in the news the last couple of weeks, you've probably seen a lot about ideas that people have as to what President-elect Trump will do with the rule as we go forward. That is yet to be seen. We know he has a lot of items on his plate for the first 100 days. We're hoping something comes of that, whether it's a delay in the start of the rule so that they can get their arms around the entire rule and take a good look at it, or whether it's to blow it up in its entirety. However, all that being said, we are not relying on court cases or president-elects or anything like that to stop what we have to do. The rule as we stand is in place today, and we are making plans to abide by the rule when it needs to be done, which is April 10th of 2017. And I assure you that URL will be ready to do business as normal. So that's basically the legal happenings of the DOL rule. We'll keep you posted on there. As a reminder, let's summarize what the rule is as it pertains to you in a sentence or two. Basically, effective April 10th of 2017, the Department of Labor's fiduciary rule will impose a best interest standard on advisors making investment recommendations to qualified retirement accounts. The DOL rule aligns the definition of best interest to that of a fiduciary under ERISA, which is the Employment Retirement Income Security Act. Best interest advice is required to be based on the investment objectives, the risk tolerance, the financial circumstances, and the needs of the customer without regard to the advisor's own financial or other interest. Because of this, a new sales process will need to be implemented when dealing with annuity sales for the qualified market. So our attempt over the next few minutes here will be to give you a bird's eye view of how the process will work as we understand it today. As the weeks and months go on, we will dial in on the process, helping you to be ready to incorporate and use the new procedures which will comply with the law. So with that said, let's look at an overview of the sales process. First of all, what are financial institutions and what will their roles in the sales process be? All insurance-only producers must adhere to a new code of conduct when dealing with qualified business after the DOL goes into effect in April. This includes analysis and approval of your sales strategy. In other words, not only will suitability need to be improved, your entire sales strategy and product selection process will need to be approved. This will be handled by a financial institution. After the DOL rule takes effect, all qualified business must be submitted through a financial institution. A producer may only use one financial institution, and we hope you choose URL to assist you. Again, this is for qualified business only. So it's the financial institution's responsibility to confirm due diligence was performed during the sales process. Upon verification and approval, the financial institution, and not the writing agent, will enter into a legal binding contract with the customer. That contract is called a best interest contract, or BIC. The contract goes to the carrier's home office and shows that the financial institution supports the sales process and that the agent has fulfilled their duty in acting in the client's best interest. Now, I'm proud to tell you that URL, in association with our longtime marketing partner, Brokers International, have applied for financial institution status with the Department of Labor. This is very important to you because, as we just stated, your clients will need to sign a contract that states you are working in their best interest when they purchase qualified products from you, and a financial institution will also need to sign the contract. So in other words, URL is going to help you to contract business come post-DOL. So let's take a look at the new sales process and what your role is. In working with qualified business, each piece of business will need a BIC contract signed, as we just stated, and a financial needs analysis will need to be completed. A detailed documentation of this process must be captured during the sales process, and we'll have software that will help agents to do that. This service this serves as to why the product recommendation is in the best interest of the customer. Several product options must be offered, and all commissions and fees must be disclosed to your client. So let's look at an example of how the new sales process will work. During the initial contact meeting, you must tell your client if you are an insurance-only producer and what your limits are as an insurance-only producer, and you must help your client determine what their insurance needs may be. So they have to be aware of the fact that you can only sell insurance products should you be an insurance-only producer. Now, as far as helping them determine their insurance needs, you might be doing this now, but you might not be documenting the process as required by the Department of Labor. So after the initial meeting, you'll have to conduct a customer review. You'll need to conduct an in-depth product review and analysis for the product recommendation. Again, this will need to be documented and submitted with the BIC on all qualified business. Next will come the product filtering area. The product filtering means you will need to identify the product or products that meet your client's needs and objectives. Again, you're probably doing this now, but you will need to document the rationale behind your product suggestion. You will then complete the carrier application, and the customer will sign the application and the BIC as well as an acknowledgement and disclosure of your compensation. So there's really going to be 3 things at least that you'll need to have signed: the application paperwork, the BIC, and an acknowledgement and disclosure of your compensation. You will then send all this paperwork, including your written justification for the product and the BIC, to the financial institution. At that point, the financial institution will conduct their own best interest review. We will review all the documents, including the product recommendation, and confirm that there are no conflicts of interest, and if approved, the financial institution will sign the BIC and send the paperwork to the carrier. The BIC will only be executed after the carrier feels the sale is appropriate. So you can see the process is a little more in-depth than what you now have with just suitability. Let's talk a little bit about oversight and risk. You know, as you can imagine, with all this oversight comes additional risk. Financial institutions signing the BIC on your behalf take on an additional risk, so that due to the additional risk, certain guidelines will have to be implemented going forward. For instance, all advertising and marketing materials must be compliant. This includes upfront acknowledgement that you are an agent soliciting a sale. Full disclosure is the key requirement to the DOL rule. So no misleading statements can be used on any marketing or advertising campaigns. Under the rule, false advertising or misleading statements do not meet the fiduciary standard. Therefore, the financial institution may not sign the BIC on your behalf. So if you're using out-of-date or uncompliant materials, we can't approve the application process. Now, we'll assist you with any marketing materials you want to use to make sure they are compliant. It is the service URL is happy to offer any agent that works through us. We will also help with any website or social media posting you want to use. Let's take a quick look at the compensation. All compensation must be reasonably based, according to the rule, on the services you provide to your client. Any type of bonus for sales contest or sales quotas must be disclosed. At this point, none of our carrier partners have released any product or compensation information. As far as we know, everything is going to be business as usual up to and through April 10th of 2017. But we have not seen any product changes or commission changes for anything after April of 2017. As I said earlier, we'll make sure that you are ready. URL will help you to be fully compliant by April of 2017. We'll continue to review and interpret Department of Labor information in regards to compliance as it becomes available. We will do our best to assist you to write business. We won't be a roadblock that prevents business. And this holds true now and after the DOL rules are implemented. We'll stay on top of all the latest details, including whatever plans and policies are announced from our carrier partners. We'll stay on top of things, but not run ahead of things with unconfirmed information. And there are many of our competitors out there that indicating they have all the answers, but I assure you, we don't have all the questions yet. This is very important. We're doing what we can with the information we have, but we still need more information from our carrier partners and the Department of Labor rule. And as far as that aspect goes, I'll be attending some meetings in a coming week or two before our next webinar to talk to some of the carriers and with Brokers International about product offerings and hopefully maybe even some insight to commissions and a little more clarification on the sales process. So as we go along and we gather this information, we'll keep you abreast of it via these DOL Update webinars. So basically, there is a lot more clarification to come as we move ahead. Please stay connected to us throughout this process. Our next update will be in 2 weeks, which is the 20th at 2 p.m. And again, if you cannot attend the live webinars and you have previously signed up for one of our DOL webinars, you are automatically scheduled to receive a recording of the webinar. So I'll be here throughout the month. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me or email me, and I'll do my best to answer all your concerns at this point. Once again, thank you for all your business, and thank you for your time today.